Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo. We are just gonna be making a giant vegan feast from scratch. We're gonna be doing homemade tortillas, rice, beans, homemade seitan taco meat, vegan queso, chips, salsa, all the works. And we're just gonna have a big taco bar. And Jameson and I made a little like decor this morning for homeschool. We just like cut up a bunch of construction paper that's colorful and hung it as streamers in the kitchen. And it was just like a homeschool activity to kind of decorate for Cinco de Mayo, and he's going to be helping me cook. So let's get started with the cooking. I really wanted to make some homemade refried beans this time, so I just stuck them in the crock pot, and I want to get like as much stuff done ahead of time as possible, so that like the actual dinner cooking itself is like no stress. It's just gonna be fun. It's not gonna be like, oh no, I have to cook all these things from scratch. I'm gonna try to make as much of it ahead of time as possible. So the beans have been cooking in the crock pot since like I woke up this morning. I put in there with some garlic and onion and jalapeno, salt, cumin, pepper, bouillon paste, and water to make like a broth, and the beans themselves. And I think that's it. Coconut oil, that's what I did. I did also some coconut oil in place of like lard, because it's going to be more solid at room temperature compared to some of the oils, which the oils would probably be healthier, but I'm going to try it out with coconut oil. So now we're going to make this salsa. And I have some Roma tomatoes that I just had in the freezer. For the salsa, I'm going to I don't think we need that much salsa, because I ate a lot of the tortilla chips yesterday. We like had a day in the garden where we were kind of like having some wine and hanging out, and then I was like, I really want some tortilla chips. So I grabbed them and made a little bit of guacamole with chickpeas in it, and I ate a lot of those tortilla chips yesterday. So also, I have two kids that aren't going to have like the spicy salsa, because it's a baby and a toddler. And then Taylor doesn't have much of an ability to handle spice. So honestly, we just need like a little bit for me, and then just like for chips and salsa. And I got some cilantro, got some limes, got some jalapeno, onion. I need to get the garlic and salt. And I'm just gonna, I'm not going on a recipe, I'm just gonna taste and adjust things, and it's gonna be the perfect sauce. Just having some lunch, so I'm gonna get this started. I'm going to peel. When it comes out of the freezer, it's so easy to get the peel off. So just take that peel right off. They're still a little bit frozen, which is not ideal. I'm just gonna squeeze out a little bit of that juice, because it's still like a lot of juice in there. So I'm not doing that many tomatoes, so I don't want to overload this thing with onion, because I'm really not making that much salsa. So let's just start small. We can add in more if we need to. That should be a good proportion. Let's just do like, it's funny, but let's just do that tiny little bit, and let's see. Let's just do a little bit of garlic. We could adjust that too. Wish I had more tomatoes, but it's fine. Alright, now we'll do a little bit of cilantro. Put a little bit of cilantro. Salt that thing up, and let's do a little bit of lime before we blend. I would like to do margaritas too, but I don't really drink that much anymore, just like here and there. And I drank yesterday, so it's like too much drinking for me. Alright, let's blend and see how this turns out, and we'll adjust. Looks like salsa to me. Break down.
ChatGPT is pretty cool, huh? One going to do. Hey, by the way, we are not doing margaritas tonight.
I know that. I know.
That sounds great.
We don't
but it
have
sounds great.
we don't have tequila anyways.
Actually, this roll
I'm
like
gonna eat all this salsa before. Just clean up, and I need to clean up Preston because he's a really big mess right now. Aren't ya?
Yummy guacamole.
Yummy guacamole. Tomatoes and onions and garlic and lime, cilantro are big Mexican staples. Alright, he's gonna go play, hopefully. Alright, you can come push the button. Good job. Wow. Alright, you wanna get started on the Spanish rice? Or the, cilantro lime rice? Cilantro lime rice. I think I'm gonna use this other onion and really make a lot of rice. We can eat on it throughout the week.
We make too much rice.
All right, so this cilantro lime rice, I'm just gonna throw some onion, some cilantro, some garlic, lime, salt, and the rest of that tomato juice that I got out of those Roma tomatoes from the freezer, all into this food processor and blend it all up. And then later I'll also add some water. And that will be our flavoring for our rice. And then I'm just gonna take all of those food scraps and I'm gonna put them back into that bag that we used for the tomatoes in the freezer, and those are gonna go to our compost. And all I do over on the stove is I heat the pan over like medium-high heat and add oil, let the oil heat, and then add the rice. And you want to just brown the rice first before you add in the seasoning juice, I guess we'll call it. Since I'm kind of waiting for the rice to cook, I'll go ahead and start on the vegan queso. And so I just start by putting some cashews into a bowl and I fill it with hot water and I let it soak for about 10 minutes. So while that's soaking, I'll go ahead and add in this juice for the rice. And if you're going to do this, just be careful whenever you first add in that juice, or I don't even know what to call it. When you add in that mixture, it will splash everywhere because the pan is really hot. So beware, don't burn yourself. And then you're going to add a little bit of extra water in there just so that the rice has enough water to soak up. You're going to bring it to a boil and then cover it and turn the heat to low.
So now I'm gonna make the vegan queso, which is basically, the way I make it is just cashews sitting in hot water for like 10 or so minutes. I'm gonna use some nutritional yeast, some lemon juice, some unsweetened almond milk, and some Rotel. And I'm not gonna use all this Rotel because I don't have enough queso that I'm making, so I'm just gonna throw the rest of it in the beans and it'll just help to flavor up the beans a little more. And also I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic powder and salt in there. So I'll just taste it and I will adjust it to make it taste as much like queso as possible. Obviously it's vegan queso, so it's not gonna be like a melty queso, but it's a really good substitute in my opinion. I used to be, before I was vegan, I was a really big cheese person. I loved queso, loved all that stuff. So I think it's a pretty good alternative. Clearly it's not cheese, but it's good enough.
So you're just going to drain those cashews and then throw them into a blender. And you have to have a high-speed blender here, okay? I definitely highly recommend a Vitamix, but if you have another high-speed blender, that's definitely what you need. And then you're going to add in the nutritional yeast and the milk and the lemon juice and the salt and the garlic. And I'm eventually going to have this out on a blog post. So if you're watching this late after I upload it, just be on the lookout for that. It'll probably be in the description box. All these recipes will eventually, when I get a second to get them in a blog post, I will have them out for you. So check out the description box for that. And then you blend and you got queso.
Even.
That's good. I kind of want to make that into like an actual cheese. You just want to blend a little bit of Rotel because if you blend too much, it's going to make the cheese like too red, if that makes sense. And then you can just stir some in at the end. If anything else, even if it's not like a queso, it's a really good like crema to put on top as like a nice little sauce.
This doesn't go in here.
Yeah, that doesn't go in there.
Did you put in there?
I didn't, did you?
No, Papa did.
Just take a look at these beans. I removed some of the liquid and blended with an immersion blender, and they are looking so good.
So traditional tortillas are made with lard, and that's what makes them like so soft and just fluffy and delicious. And what I always usually do with my tortillas is I either use olive oil or avocado oil, because those are just like the healthiest oils there are. But today I also want to test it out with coconut oil because this is going to be like solid at room temperature, saturated fat, similar to lard. And I'm going to try it out with that and I'm going to see if it makes a really big difference in texture. And if the coconut oil makes a big enough difference where I'm like, wow, this is amazing tortillas, I'm probably going to start making them like that going forward. I think they're still unbelievably amazing with avocado oil or olive oil. But it's just going to be a fun little experiment. We'll see how it goes.
So it's a few days later when I'm talking to you, and I will say the coconut oil does make them softer. But because of the saturated fat content, I probably will still make it with olive oil or avocado oil like on a more regular basis and just use the coconut oil here and there for when I want it extra special, because they're still good either way, and I'd rather kind of make the base of my cooking healthier oils and then go all out with coconut oil on occasion. So I just mixed it all up. Sometimes I'll use my stand mixer to make tortillas, and this day I just decided to put it all in a bowl and then knead by hand, which both ways work perfectly fine. And so then I just cut it into 16 small little dough balls and I roll them up into a ball. And I don't have a tortilla press, so what I do is I just roll them out with a rolling pin, and that works perfectly fine. They don't get like the perfect round tortilla edge. They tend to be like a little bit like of a different edge, you'll see. So I do want to get a tortilla press. I'm kind of looking into one where it's like handheld and you can press it, and I'm thinking maybe I can press it while it's already on the pan. That way I don't have to lift it and then transfer it to the pan, because that's when that's whenever it makes a different shape. And honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. They taste the same anyways, but just like a little aesthetic thing. So let me know if you have a tortilla press, by the way. And so now I'm just making the seitan taco meat. I have homemade seitan that I make all the time. Keep it in the freezer. I make really big batches of it, and it's on my blog. I'll link it down below so you can see it. But I make big batches of it, and I grind it up in the food processor and then just stick it in the freezer in batches so that I can pull it out and use it whenever. It goes really well in this taco meat or in Italian food to act like a ground beef, like lasagna or spaghetti. And it also goes really well actually in Asian food. I tried it with a peanut sauce and it was absolutely delicious. So thanks for hanging out with us today while we cook this big vegan feast, aside from also serving a little bit of cheese at the table for the rest of the family because they all eat cheese. But let me know if you celebrate Cinco de Mayo and if you also had margaritas, because I'm wondering. Bye.